Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Arcanum. We have finished reading through the books here in the library, so let's go ahead and continue exploring around Toronto here. What do we got here? 24 University Court. Hello, anybody here? Anything that I can open up here? There's a lot of these just like oil barrels around. Hello? What is it? Hello, sir. Might I ask who you are? I'm Benjamin Gershwin, Doctor of Phrenology. How can I be of service? Nice to meet you, Benjamin. Did you say phrenology? You know that's not a real science, right? Phrenology, it's a science of the head. You see, every man and woman's head is characterized by different bumps and ridges. Through studying these, I attempt to extrapolate the personality of the individual involved. It's dreadfully interesting and phenomenally accurate. You mean by phenomenally accurate, you mean completely inaccurate and arbitrary? What are you currently working on? It's interesting that you ask. I'm looking to acquire the skulls of Jin and Zin, the famous Ren-Ar Siamese twins, for my studies. They were elvish debutantes who were joined at the hip their whole lives. Scandalous characters as well. Stories of their exploits still float around the elite Tarantian social circles. Acquire them. Where can these skulls be found? Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Perhaps you could help me with it. They're interned in a mausoleum in the Toronto cemetery. I'll pay you 100 gold pieces for your trouble. Wait, you want me to rob a grave for you? All in the interest of science, miss. All in the interest of science. Just think about the advances that could be made from just this one little indiscretion. I will have to think on this further. Goodbye. See if I can get you to read my head. It's one thing to steal, like, objects that people are buried with. After all, you can't take it with you. It's another thing to steal their corpses. Yeah, I must go. I was hoping that he'd still read my head. Ancient diagram? Ancient Chinese secret? It is a good day. To die? Greetings, sir. Might I ask who you are? I am Professor Aldous Buxington, and I am head of the religion department here at Toronto University. And you are? I'm Elmandretta. Might I ask you a few questions? Certainly. Tell me about what you do here. Me? Oh, I've been here at Toronto University for many years. Mostly I teach classes, but I still do a fair bit of research when I can find the time. What sort of research are you doing right now? Currently, I'm studying the older pagan religions of Arcanum. As I'm sure you're aware, the Panari have been the favored religion in Arcanum for the last 1,500 years. But in the years before the Age of Legends, there were many religions and many gods. Each of the races had certain gods that they prayed to, and those gods are what I've been studying. I see. Could I ask you questions about the pagan religions? Of course. Tell me about the pagan gods. There were 12 pagan gods in all, 8 lesser gods, one for each of the 8 races, 3 greater gods, and the All-Father. Offerings were made to the gods in hopes of getting their blessing, and each god demanded a different offering. I've done quite a bit of research on them. I wrote a book about them. Would you like a copy? Sure. Here you go. He gives you one. Is there anything else I can help you with? He just gives me a book that I mean, it's a university book. I'd probably have to pay $500 for this. Do I have a few more questions about the pagan religions? Are there still pagan temples? Yes, there are still individuals who worship them as well. Both the Order of Halcyon and the Cult of Geshtiana are examples. Most of the ancient pagan temples are in ruin now, but you could still find them scattered throughout Arcanum, and some still have their altars intact. A few more questions about pagan religions. Do you believe in the pagan gods, Professor? He gives you a shrewd glance. Do I believe in them? That's an interesting question. Pardon me. Breakfast is coming back up, apparently. I've studied almost everything there is to know about the pagan gods. I visited some of the temples, even made an offering or two. All I will say is this. I've seen enough to know that these ancient beliefs are not to be trifled with. Tread lightly among the old gods, my friend. Alright. What is that diagram on the wall? Ah, yes, we call that Mazarin's mystery. Who is Mazarin? Mazarin was an elven mystic who did his share of research into the old religions about 3,000 years ago, apparently while the old religions were still the religions of course. He wrote the Book of 12 Powers, which was a fairly cryptic analysis of the pagan religions. According to Mazarin, there was some sort of a deeper connection between all of them. What do you mean, deeper connection? Well, Mazarin believed the gods and their powers were somehow interwoven, and this diagram is supposed to explain how they are related. Certain gods don't get along with other gods. So-and-so begat so-and-so, get blessed by this fellow, and that fellow curses you, that sort of thing. I see. Can you explain the diagram to me? There is an excerpt from the Book of the 12 Powers that might help to explain what it means, but no one has ever been able to solve Mazarin's mystery. That excerpt is in the book I wrote. I already have one. A few more questions. Alright. Any other general questions? Nope. Alright. Thank you for your book. Oh. There's a door there. Hello! Before you stands a tall, bookish man with spectacles perched on the top of his head. As in, like, on his hair, as opposed to over his eyes? He is oblivious to your presence, as all of his attention is focused on a telegram. Suddenly, he becomes aware of your presence and looks up. Oh, excuse me, I get so involved in these telegrams people send me. I get questions from everywhere about demons. Amazing, really. Might I ask who you are? He seems overjoyed to see you. Oh, an elf! I get so few opportunities to study those of your type. May I examine your head? My head? I suppose it cannot hurt, or I do not need this weirdness. I suppose it cannot hurt. As long as you're examining my head, would you give me a head massage? Those feel pretty good. He moves his fingers quickly over the surface of your skull, muttering the whole time. He is obviously enjoying himself. Ew. Yes, of course. Perfect, perfect. I need to leave. You've made me extremely uncomfortable. You were about to introduce yourself to me. Yes, of course. You will have to excuse my excitement. I am new to this whole phrenology discipline. My colleague, Professor Gershwin, is doing wonderful things in the field. By way of introduction, I am Professor Eakins, scientician and expert of demonology. Scientician and demonologist? You're mixing magic and science? I'm a scholar involved in research. Magic and science are the opposite sides of the same coin. So when I go to flip a coin, it's like, alright, pick a side, magic or science. Oh, science. Sorry, you lost. To be truly knowledgeable, one must study a tremendous variety of things. Specialization is for insects and orcs. That feels racist, sir. What can you tell me about demonology? Well, it concerns the study of demons, obviously. I was just thinking about a rather humorous one, actually. Name of Gorgoth. No, I'm thinking of Gorgo and Mormo. Can you tell me about it? Gorgoth was a mindless demon roaming the countryside. He had an insatiable appetite, and he would eat anything he came across. And, this is a funny part, he happened upon a village of halflings and ate them all. It seems he had a sweet tooth for halflings. Isn't that great? I guess. What happened to him? Oh, he was banished to some other realm or some such nonsense. That's what they used to do with troublemakers back in those days. Can I ask you some other questions? What can you tell me about your scientific endeavors? I wish there was more to tell, actually. I am just scratching the surface of the new ways of scientificdom, such as my exploring of phrenology. Science will solve all the world's ills within 50 years, you know. No, it won't, sir. Can I ask you some other questions? I must take my leave. University bookseller. Hello. Hello, may I help you? What sort of books do you sell here? Well, as I'm sure you're well aware, the Trent University is an institution dedicated to the study of science. The books we sell here are about science and technology as well. I see. What help are these books, friend? The manuals that we sell are very helpful in learning general knowledge about a particular technological discipline. If you find yourself spending most of your time studying electricity but are interested in learning a little something about chemistry, then the chemistry manual will give you a little added expertise without having to commit to a full degree in chemistry. I think I'd like to purchase some technical manuals. Not really, but I want to see how that works. I do have enough money. Yes. Okay, chemistry manuals, explosive manuals, herbology manuals, smithy manuals, therapeutics manuals, gunsmithy, electrical, mechanical. I'll be going now. Okay, I'm not sure exactly how those work, but I'm not playing a technologist. I am a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. Did I go in here? 20 University Court. Oh. I was not expecting there to be a back door. Fuel and a battery. I'll take them. Oops. Can't read the book while in that inventory screen. Aw. The Pagan Gods of Arcanum. By Aldous T. Buxington III. The following is a brief description of the pagan religious figures of Arcanum. Most, with few exceptions, have been forgotten and lost to antiquity. It is this author's experience that the old gods do indeed have power, and are not at all to be disavowed. The Lesser Gods. There is a lesser god for every race in Arcanum. I have classified them into 3 categories: the noble lesser gods, the neutral lesser gods, and the darker lesser gods. The noble lesser gods. Terrell, the elven god of wisdom. Before the advent of existentialism, the elven people were mostly mystics who worshipped natural deities. The most powerful of those deities was Terrell, god of the trees, who later came to embody wisdom. Terrell was both blind and mute, and could only speak through the wind or the rain. Offerings to Terrell were the small wooden statues known as litani, or houses of the soul. Such idols, carved once a year by elven shamans, were said to hold the spiritual essence of the owner. Every year the litani were offered to Terrell and then burned. Offerings of the litani to Terrell were believed to increase both intelligence and insight. Geshtiana, human goddess of love. Geshtiana has been a central figure in human paganism for as long as their history has been recorded. Human mythology claims that Geshtiana was once a mortal woman who was so beautiful that she was made into a god by the moon and the sun. Humans believed that Geshtiana would smile down upon them at twilight, and that her love was manifested in the springtime. The festivals to the goddess were a time of celebration, wrought with music and drink, as well as various rites of physicality and fertility. Offerings at the altars of Geshtiana were usually passion root, which was believed to bring the giver increased beauty and charisma. Geshtiana is... no, it's Geshtinana. There's a Mesopotamian deity with a very, very similar name, but I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be misremembering, she was a goddess of wine. And usual wifey stuff. Stereotypical wifey stuff. The neutral lesser gods. Albric, stone god of the dwarves. The ancient god Albric has always weighed heavily in dwarven lore. According to the oldest dwarven myths, it is upon the spine of Albric upon which Arcanum rests. That's 2 upons in the same sentence. That's not great. And the dwarves are his first children who are privileged to live within him. Albric is the most ancient of things. Jeez, this guy really needs an editor. And loves those who are slow to anger, deep of thought, and hardworking. To the altars of Albric, dwarves bring chunks of lava rock. To them it represents his anger, which can be terrible, but which is cool and light when all is well with his children. Dwarves believe these offerings bring them increased strength. Makal, the Bedokan god of the hunt. Very little is known of the lizard-like nomadic Bedokan. The following is an excerpt from Fauna and Species of the Dark Fens, by the famous gnomish explorer Sir Warren Purrington. They have language and the most elementary beginnings of culture, but besides that seem altogether wild and ferocious. Their simple religion revolves around deities they call the Snake Fathers, one of whom is a being named Makal, the god of the hunt. Before their daily outings to find food, Bedokan warriors kneel before the altar of Makal and offer small pieces of something they call heartstone, which looks to be some sort of rough diamond or crystal. Where they get them, I've yet to ascertain. Bedokon warriors believe that the offerings to Makal give them speed when hunting their prey. Truly, these are a primitive people. One-armed Bolo, the halfling god of thieves. One of the most important halfling deities was Bolo, the one-armed god of thieves. Bolo was known for his cunning ways and his love of all things precious and beautiful. Legend tells that Progo, the halfling god of the storm, cut off Bolo's arm because Bolo had stolen his shadow. In retaliation, Bolo stole Progo's soul and tore it in half. Progo promptly dropped dead. Halflings used to offer rings at the altars of Bolo. Rings reminded them of the price that Bolo paid for his carelessness, as well as the skill he still possessed in his remaining hand. Thieves who make offerings believe that Bolo helps them to move more quietly, and helps them to open locks more skillfully. Curlin, the golden god of the gnomes. Gnomish history is well guarded, as are their most ancient beliefs and traditions, but a visit to any gnomish household will reveal at least one of their religious traditions. One will invariably find a golden statuette, or likeness thereof, of Curlin, the golden god. Curlin was the oldest of the gnomish pantheon, and all other gods were sprung directly from his palms of his hands. He sung the world into existence, and the sound solidified into great veins of gold and silver. Curlin wanted only the coins that were made of his words, and so gnomish offerings were always of money. Gnomes believe that the offerings brought them luck in games of chance, as well as a shrewder eye in business dealings. The darker lesser gods. Shakar, the orcish god of war. Shakar, the orcish god of war, was a frightening creature with the head of a ram, 4 arms, and the tail of a scorpion. For many years, orcs sacrificed their firstborn to Shakar, but orcish lore says that Shakar changed his mind about the sacrifices when he saw that the orcs were truly warlike, and then demanded only their finest weapons as offering. Traditionally, these were bone-handled knives and swords, bone to represent Shakar's great horns, and tempered steel to represent his will. The orcs were very serious about their god, and they carried such weapons to remind them of his ferocity. It is said that some of the lesser barbarian tribes have taken to worshipping Shakar. It is rumored that an altar to the god still exists in the ruins of Kree, an ancient city in the southeastern region of the Morbahan Plains. Offerings made to the Shakar, were said to imbue the giver with unnatural willpower and prowess in battle. Torg, a god of the ogre heart. Ogre lore tells that Torg was the father of many children, and that long ago there were many gods to rule over the ogrish people. As time passed, Torg saw that his children had forgotten what it meant to be ogrish, and slew them all. From the bodies of his children he pulled their still beating hearts and ate them, bringing into himself all the best parts of them, and threw the rest into the sea. To the altars of Torg, the ogres bring rubies, a symbol of their fierce heart within their god. They believe these offerings bring them increased vitality and strength of body. The Greater Gods. The Greater Gods are classified so because they are cross-cultural. All the races worshipped them in some form or another. Halcyon, the god of truth. All of the pagan religions had a notion of ultimate good, and the god Halcyon represents that good in all of them. He is best known as the god of truth, and is a child of Helion, god of light, and the sun. Halcyon was said to shed light on all that was unknown, all that was petty or evil. An order of Halcyon priests still exists in Vuradin, a small village in the southwestern region of the Morbahan Plains. Offerings made to Halcyon were always the branch of an olive tree, which are most difficult to find in light of the destruction of the Morbahan forest. What was expected of the offering was unknown. Murindal, the god of shadow. Evil is an integral part in any religion. Murindal, the god of shadow, is represented in one way or another in all of Arcanum's pagan religions. Murindal is the bastard son of the moon and the Helion, the god of light. Patricide is always associated with Murindal, as legends tell that once Helion ruled over both the day and night, but that Murindal killed him so that the night could be his and his mother's. So the night became the kingdom of Murindal, as did the winter months. There were many secret cults and religions that worshipped Murindal, but we know little about their practices, and perhaps that is for the best. We do know that they used the black diamonds from the Bangalian deeps as an offering to their god. It represented loss of innocence, the triumph of shadow. What it was expected to do, we don't know. Kaitan, the goddess of balance. Kaitan is the daughter of the moon and the sun, and so is a half-sister to both Halcyon and Murindal. Kaitan is a trickster, a cunning goddess who is forever playing tricks on her two more emotional half-brothers, setting them against one another and laughing when they blame the other for their problems. As it was, she was worshipped by the thieves and actors, but Kaitan was also the goddess of judges, and they would pray to her for guidance and discernment in all decisions, as well as her cunning when dealing with enemies. Pardon me. It was said that Kaitan knew all things, as well as their value. She was always smiling because most things were worth nothing at all. Worshippers of Kaitan offered to her the geode, which represented both the beautiful and the evil in the world. What was expected of the offering was unknown. Valorian, the Allfather. Of all the pagan gods, the least is known about Valorian, or the Allfather. References to him are few and far between, but all of the religions speak of a deity who watches over all, and from whom all was created. There are only two known passages that refer to the Allfather by name, and both of them from the Book of the 12 Powers, written by Mazarin, an elven mystic, almost 3,000 years ago. The second will be discussed later. The first says, "And the City of Wonders made great offerings to the Allfather, and he blessed them, and gave them power. And they made things never seen before by the eyes of man." If there were offerings made to Valorian, it is unknown what they were, or what was expected of him if the offering was made. Mazarin, the elven mystic, an excerpt from his book of the 12 Powers. "And the 12 powers, they are woven together, flowing inward. The road to truth starts with wisdom, but shadow first finds purchase in the heart. The road between them is marked with stones. And the gods, they are jealous gods, and often despise one another. Greed is spit upon by love, without the protection of the shadow, and this serves as a reflection of the whole. Be steadfast. 4 powers, and then a 5th. 3 powers, and then the 1. The glory to he who gains the blessing of the Allfather, who will become as a god himself." The meaning of this passage is unknown, but it would seem that Mazarin believed that all of the pagan gods were somehow intertwined. Very little research has been done concerning these supposed relationships. I am often asked whether or not I have my own religious beliefs. I will say only this. I've studied the old gods extensively. I visited their temples, even made offerings at certain altars where they are still intact. From what I've seen, I can with all verity say that these ancient beliefs are not to be trifled with. Tread lightly among them. Okay. Oops. Didn't mean to click that. Alright, that is City Hall. I believe I've already been there. Alright, this is the Bates estate. We're not getting into there anytime soon. The guards are most definitely not interested in allowing us in. Need to look to see there's a... I don't have my quick reference card up. I was going to look for the thing that centers my screen. There's a rubbish bin. Let's see if there's anything good in there. Metal can. Maybe I can recycle that. Nothing there. Alright, we've got Panari Temple. That's the Panari Temple? That is like a warehouse. I suppose you'd get mad at me if I opened your chest, huh? Human priest. In the name of Nasrudin, the Panari welcome you to our temple. How might I help you today, friend? What can you tell me about the Panari? The Panari Church is based on the teachings of Nasrudin, an elf who lived during the Age of Legends. As head of the Elven Council, Nasrudin acted as a guide for all of the races until the rise of Aranax and his evil followers. Nasrudin waged war and Aranax was defeated. The Panari Church was founded sometime after that. Might I ask a few more questions about the Panari? Of course. What is the Age of Legends? The Age of Legends was a time between 1500 and 2000 years ago, a time when magic was a much larger part of the world than it is today, before the mages left for Tula. A time of dragons and knights and kingdoms, the time of the Elven Council. A few more questions. What was the Elven Council? The Elven Council was a group of elves and mages who oversaw the well-being of all the races of Arcanum. They were ruled by Nasrudin, a wise and powerful elf who was head of the council for 1,000 years. What can you tell me of Nasrudin? Nasrudin was a benevolent leader of the Elven Council. For 1,000 years he ruled all of Arcanum and brought peace and prosperity to all the races. His teachings are recorded in the sacred Archaean and are the cornerstone of all Panari beliefs. Are there any prophecies that he will return? Yes, it is called the Prophecy of the Living One. It is written in the Archaean that one day both Nasrudin and Aranax will return to Arcanum in the fight the final battle. I don't understand. Isn't Nasrudin dead? Yes, he has been dead for a long time. The literal meaning of the prophecy is unknown. Many believe that they will both be reincarnated, or that the prophecy is a metaphor for something more contemporary. The truth is, we just don't know. And who is Aranax? Aranax was an evil elf who came into power during the Age of Legends. He believed that only he and his followers were fit to rule, and decreed death to all the races. Nasrudin, in his mercy, came to our defense, and, I quote from the Archaeon, defeated Aranax, banishing him forever to the void. Well, I mean, we could just always build a black gate and get there. What do you mean he was banished? We're not quite sure exactly what happens. No one is banished anymore. We believe that it took powerful magic to do so, and once banished, that person never returned. The void is a term used to describe where one goes when banished, but no one knows if it was even a real place. But the Archaean speaks of it, and so we believe. Has anyone else ever been banished? Yes, the Archaean speaks of others who suffered the same fate as Aranax. There are 4 who are listed by name: Gorgoth, Krakatur, Kurgan, and the Bane of Kree. They were all evil beings, but none were so evil as Aranax. If you ever see the Archaean, you can read more about them. I would, but, you know, I first have to read Dianetics. What is the Archaean? The sacred book of Nasrudin's teachings. It is housed in the first temple of the Panari in Caledon. You can see it there. A few more questions about the Panari. What can you tell me of Aranax? I think, okay, we did that already. A few more general questions. What do the Panari believe in? Okay. A few more general questions. Needed your services. Okay, so they can heal, and you do apprenticeship and heal. Alright, never mind. I'll go now. Glad you stopped by, my friend. Would you like a pamphlet before you go? Sure. Here you go. In the name of Nasrudin, farewell. That's the pamphlet. It's a book. Although it only has 2 pages. Are you confused in this new world of magic and technology? Are you sad about a lack of reverence for the old ways? Then the Panari religion is for you. Based on the teachings of the great elf Nasrudin, the Panari religion offers truth and guidance in this world of quick remedies and soothsayers. But don't believe us. Listen to what others have said about the Panari and its beliefs. I've never been happier. I even sold my staff of hideous death. Worman Dune, former death necromancer. Panari good. Turg Skullcrusher, former ogre shaman. Those Panari buggers are all right in my book. Brock Hilgeman, former half-orc bounty hunter. We accept all races, all walks of life. Come and share in the ancient elven wisdom and see how it applies to life today. We're always open. Come one, come all. Selling a bit hard there, friends. Applebee residence. Well, let's head to Applebee's. This is a residence? Hello? Please don't bother me now. I am pondering the complexities of my newest project. It is brilliant, if I do say so myself. Good day. You know what? Maybe I will save it real fast. I don't think that worked. Nope, it didn't work. Alright. I'll come back later. Didn't want to piss off the owner. Nothing over there. Let's see, we've got the 1510 Hands Road. Another entrance into the sewer. Wait, what was that? Seems welded shut. Small placard on it reads, sealed by the order of Charles Dunstan, manager. Tarantian Water and Power, 19 Lion's Head Circle. Knock, knock.
Ugh.
Why are you here, Orc?
Why pointy ear bother me? Me working. Go away.
Working? What type of work would suit an orc?
Ah, something no elf ever do. Truth check for dumb pointy ear.
Alright, good day. I'm not gonna like force you guys to fight me. Probably could. I imagine that they're all gonna say basically the same thing. Make your acquaintance. Hello, may I ask what your position is here? Also, this is like really loud in the background. I'm the foreman around here. What can I do for you, stranger? Can I look at your trade goods? Okay, it's all technological stuff. Do you want to buy anything? Well, give me 2 coins. Alright. Let's see. I seek apprentice training and repair. Nope. Alright. I'll take my leave. Head over to this side. Not sure what that sound was. Alright, but, Guys? Guys? Virgil, Sog, where are you? There you guys are. Alright, good. I was wondering where you'd gotten off to. Alright, we will head in here in the next episode and finish up exploring this section of town, which seems kind of like the industrial section. And see what else there is to offer around this town. See you then, everyone.